The Gqeberha Global Scholars Program is an ambitious talent identification and retention program that seeks to strengthen our capacity as the CDC to be able to respond to the complex environment that we have by developing the necessary management capability, the necessary leadership capability of the future, by sending our people to international programs in highly rated science and technology institutions globally, mainly in Asia and in Europe, with a core focus on those that are very good in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, what we call STEM, as well as related disciplinary studies. And if you look at the program, that may have up to 30 students internationally on this over a 5 to 6 year period, and in countries like Japan, China, South Korea, Germany, Switzerland, Norway, Russia.
And we also want in support and to make sure that the organization responds in a systematic fashion to ensure that even the interrelated disciplines that would work with those disciplines are also afforded the opportunity for exposure and participation in the program. This is to make sure that the system functions in a cohesive way and that there is integratedness into the approach and the evolution to the business.
The CDC as an institution whose vision is to become the leading catalyst for the championing of socio-economic development, key to its ability to achieve that vision is that it must be able to respond to a very dynamic business environment and social environment. So what brought this idea for us was that we needed to make sure we think about the skills that has got the sufficient exposure both locally and globally and is being developed technically to ensure that we have got the diversity of solutions that we can develop into the future. This program is a foundation that we have at the CDC to develop then the next generation of leadership with a multi-generational impact, because once these people go on this program, they are likely to impact a generation far beyond them, and their skills will outlast even those of us who are in leadership now.
And we therefore, from a talent base, need to say what is the pipeline of skills that we need to have that will serve those critical, scarce and priority interests as part of that future vision the organization wants to pursue. So it's therefore important that from a knowledge base, we actually intensify that. We ensure that we've got thought leaders who are well aware, who are knowledgeable in their technical areas of specialization. So that is the first area. But also from a leadership perspective, it's very important as an organization to make sure that as we think about the future, we've got a pipeline of talent that will take the organization forward and actually work towards creating that sustainable future.
But also what it also talks to is that we as the leadership that is there today have the responsibility to develop the next generation, so that the institutions that we are leading now, we leave them better than they were at the time we found them. And this one about having the people to respond to global challenges and think at a global level is actually very, very important. Another element to this program is to deal with the specific gap that you see, especially with the role of women. And that's why there's a specific focus that the majority of people on the program are likely to be women, which then makes sure that it allows us to have the comfort that we are going to develop the next generation of leaders, including women.
We're looking at a candidate that has got potential, that's open-minded, that's willing to think broadly and just grasp as much as possible and come back and realize the benefits with the organization. And I think also we're looking at people who are likely to grow with the organization.
And also what inspired it is the fact that if you look at it, especially in the public sector context, we are gaining people who've been educated in very good institutions in our country. A lot of them would be coming and be children of the rural poor and the urban working class, would be now expected to compete at a global level, but never having had the opportunity to actually study or interact at that level always. And therefore, part of this is to make sure that for this generation, they come back with the kinds of skills that they would not ordinarily have had and the kinds of exposures they would not have ordinarily have had, which gets them to be ready for a very complex and dynamic global environment.
Of course, from a customer value creation, it's also important for us to make sure that the programs that we pursue continue to give value. The services that we offer externally, both on the SEZ front and also on the external services program, they must continue to give our stakeholders that we are servicing value. And in so doing, we need to make sure that the people who are on the front line, who are on the customer-facing positions, are well equipped, they are open-minded, they can also have the capacity for critical thinking and also provide solutions that are innovative to the customers that we are facing.
I think we are a very ambitious company in terms of what we seek to achieve and impact on society. And we've studied other countries and companies globally. The ones that excel are the ones that combine the best of training of both the local and the international, so that they are able to deal with multiple types of challenges and opportunities. And for us, in order to be able to achieve this, we need to make sure that we've got the kind of leadership, the kind of technical capability that makes us to be ready to solve very, very complex things that we are actually dealing with both today and tomorrow. And in particular, we've seen the changes in technology in the last few decades, and we think the pace of change in the future will also be much faster. And therefore, it is absolutely critical, that we must have the right people with the right exposure and the appropriate mix of skills, trained in the best institutions in the world to travel that journey. We are a people business. And as a people business, the investment in our people, our professionals, is the fundamental investment we make to make sure that those we partner and work with and those we work with for solutions know that we will sustain this way into the future. So firstly, the CDC has evolved such that from the foundation of the work we started to do in the Coega SEZ to becoming a key partner to develop very complex infrastructure programs in South Africa. And also because of the nature of the work we've done and the success of the past, the CDC is actually increasingly being asked to represent the country on very important global conversations that relates to investments, infrastructure, technological advancements, as well as sustainability. And having the right core of people who are going to be able to respond to that today and into the future, that really is a big driver of what we're trying to do. And amongst this group and many other talent that we have, we are convinced the next generation of leaders are going to emerge. And this opportunity is really a wonderful opportunity. We are sending out a statement that we are a world-class organization that wants to make sure that it brings world-class skills to provide world-class solutions. And therefore, they must see themselves as being part of a global community and think at a global level. That is why it's called the Global Scholars Program. So that is our message to the aspiring applicants of this program.